There has been a rampant change within the weather patterns in the country. Throughout the country, several actors, majority of whom are farmers, are not just in limbo, but are also in corridors of confusion as they stare at the unprecedented changing weather tides within this our land. The meteorologists as well are looking on shell-shocked, as it's even now more harder than ever to predict weather patterns within the country. I reached out to a climatologist and a save soil activist to give me his assessment on the situation.
So these changes can either be good or bad, but of late what we've been seeing is actually catastrophic. We've been seeing very devastating weather events, but you asked an important question: what is causing all this? In the discussion about climate change, there is something they call global warming.
According to National Geographic, a renowned nature think tank, global warming basically refers to the long-term warming of the planet's overall temperature due to the burning of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels include, amongst others, coal, oil, and natural gas, a phenomenon that has been termed as the greenhouse effect. But the question is, what is this greenhouse effect? The greenhouse effect is when the sun's rays penetrate into the atmosphere, but instead of reflecting off the surface and going back into space, the heat of these sun rays is trapped by the greenhouse gases within the atmosphere. These, amongst others, include carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, nitrous oxide, amongst others. This excess heat within the atmosphere causes average global temperatures to rise, and over time, this builds into the phenomena we know as global warming. This situation is further exacerbated with the continued depletion of the ozone layer, and in the process, hotter sun rays come into the Earth's atmosphere through the radiation process and are still captured by the greenhouse gases, a situation which only increases the amount of heat within the Earth's atmosphere. And the same cycle repeats itself over and over again.
All these that we see, the industrialization and the farming, is all to produce for us consumers what to eat. So it is basically driven from the demand side. What we demand is what is being produced, is what is being farmed, and subsequently, that's why we see that forests are being encroached on, wetlands are being encroached on to build industries and to establish farms, and those endanger not just the environment but the entire ecosystem.
So it's this change in weather patterns and climatic conditions around the world that is leaving farmers shocked, not just in Uganda, neither Africa, but the entire spectrum of developing countries, especially amongst those that rely solely on natural elements for their farm work productivity. I visited Chitagata, a small upcountry town within the district of Shema, and it is here that the devastating effects of climate change became ever so vivid. A place which has always been bustling with coffee activity within the month of May looks completely out of the usual life as the coffee season hasn't taken shape. The reason is not because there's no coffee, no, there's sufficient coffee, but then the challenge is there was an extension of the rainy season which was never anticipated for in such a season, as everyone expected to have a sunny season so that the coffee seeds could ripen from the palento trees. And because of the continued ceaseless rainfall, the seeds had to delay in ripening, something that has left some of the farmers completely frustrated. Climate change poses a serious threat to life on Earth in form of widespread flooding and extreme weather.
Including floods, including thunderstorms, hailstorms, all sorts of climate disasters. But
heavy rainfall and flooding have triggered landslides in 3 of Uganda's districts since the 24th of April 2023.
There is definitely hope in reversing this situation of climate change, because it is all caused by human action, meaning all the things that we did before, we need to devise ways of doing them differently. So it takes the efforts of each one of us.
Climate change is clearer now more than ever. It is not something that is coming out of nowhere. It is something that has been instigated by our own activities as humans. We can only hope that the government, through its parastatals, will put in place clear, streamlined policies and structures that will prevent man from destroying himself.